The moment my vice president looked me in the eyes and demanded that I apologize to her daughter in front of the entire company, I felt my world stop. Not because I was guilty, but because I realized no one in that room cared whether I was telling the truth. My name is Sarah, and for 6 years I had worked hard to build a reputation I was proud of. I was never the loudest person in the office. I wasn't the most connected. I didn't come from a powerful family. I simply worked. Long hours, late nights, weekend projects. While others focused on office politics, I focused on results. And for years, that approach worked. Until Madison arrived. Madison was young, confident, and impossible to ignore. But she had something far more valuable than talent. She was the daughter of our vice president, Rebecca. Everyone knew it. No one talked about it openly. But everyone knew. The rules seemed different for her. Deadlines were flexible. Mistakes disappeared. Promotions appeared faster than anyone expected. At first, I tried not to judge. Maybe she was genuinely talented. Maybe she deserved the opportunities. But what I didn't know that day was that Madison viewed me as an obstacle. Someone standing between her and the promotion she wanted. The trouble started when our department launched a major project. I had spent 3 months leading the planning process. Countless meetings, endless revisions, hundreds of hours. Then suddenly, strange things began happening. Missing files, incorrect reports, important emails disappearing. At first I blamed myself. I thought I was overwhelmed, stressed, making mistakes. But the problems kept growing. Then came the accusation. One Monday morning I walked into the office and immediately noticed people staring. Conversations stopped when I entered the room. My stomach tightened. Something was wrong. Very wrong. Within an hour, Human Resources called me into a meeting. Rebecca sat at the head of the table. Madison sat beside her. And the expression on Madison's face told me everything. She wasn't nervous. She wasn't afraid. She looked confident, almost excited. Then Rebecca spoke. "Sarah, serious concerns have been raised about your conduct." My heart dropped. "What concerns?" Madison lowered her eyes dramatically. "I didn't want this to happen." The words sounded rehearsed, like lines from a script. Then she claimed that I had bullied her, undermined her work, and intentionally tried to damage her career. Every word felt unreal. Every accusation felt like a nightmare. I looked around the room searching for someone, anyone to question her story. No one did. And as the meeting continued, I realized something terrifying. People weren't looking for the truth. They had already chosen a side. The following weeks were some of the hardest of my life. The accusations spread quietly through the company. No official announcement was made. No evidence was presented. Yet somehow everyone seemed to know. The woman who had spent years earning respect suddenly became the subject of whispers. Lunch invitations disappeared. Coworkers avoided eye contact. Even people I considered friends became distant. I felt isolated, broken, humiliated. Every day I questioned myself. How could one lie destroy everything I had built? But what hurt most wasn't Madison's betrayal. It was Rebecca's. As vice president, she was supposed to be fair, objective, professional. Instead, she protected her daughter at every step. Every complaint I raised was dismissed. Every explanation I offered was ignored. Then things became worse. Rebecca scheduled a company-wide meeting. Everyone from our division was required to attend. The purpose seemed unclear, until I walked into the conference room. Rebecca stood at the front. Madison sat beside her. Both looked unusually confident. Then Rebecca made her announcement. "Today we're addressing workplace conduct issues." The room became silent. My heart started racing. I already knew where this was heading. Rebecca looked directly at me. "Sarah, before we move forward, I believe you owe Madison an apology." A shock moved through the room. People turned toward me, waiting, watching, judging. I could feel my face burning. The humiliation was overwhelming. Rebecca continued. "Apologize now and we can put this matter behind us." Madison folded her arms. A small smile appeared on her face. That smile changed everything. Because in that moment I finally understood. This wasn't about justice. It wasn't about workplace conduct. It was about power. They wanted submission. They wanted me to admit to something I hadn't done, and for a brief moment I almost gave in. I was exhausted, emotionally drained, ready to escape the pressure. But then I remembered something. 2 months earlier, after several strange incidents, I had started documenting everything. Emails, messages, meeting notes, and one particular conversation. A conversation I had almost forgotten. One evening while working late, I accidentally overheard Madison speaking with a friend in the parking garage. The comments felt important enough that I saved the audio from my phone. At the time, I wasn't even sure why. Now I knew. I slowly reached into my bag. Rebecca frowned. "What are you doing?" I looked around the room. Then I answered calmly. "If we're sharing the truth today, everyone deserves to hear all of it." And then I connected my phone to the conference room speakers. For a few seconds, no one spoke. Then the recording began. Madison's voice filled the room. Clear, undeniable, confident. People leaned forward in their seats. And as the audio continued, the atmosphere changed. Fast. Madison openly discussed manipulating situations at work. She laughed about making me look responsible for mistakes. She bragged about how her mother would always protect her. Then came the sentence that changed everything. "No matter what happens, my mom will make people believe me." The room froze. I watched faces change one by one. Shock, disbelief, realization. The same people who had doubted me were finally hearing the truth. Not from me, from Madison herself. The recording ended. Silence followed, a heavy silence, the kind that changes lives. Madison's confidence disappeared instantly. Rebecca looked stunned. For the first time, neither of them had control of the story. Neither of them knew what to say. The company launched an internal investigation that same week. More evidence surfaced. Emails, messages, witness statements. The truth that had been hidden for months finally came into the light. Madison's actions were confirmed. Rebecca's involvement raised serious concerns. Within weeks, both left the company. Not because I demanded revenge, not because I sought punishment, because actions eventually reveal themselves, and truth has a way of finding its voice. As for me, something unexpected happened. I didn't feel victorious. I felt relieved. The weight I had carried for months disappeared. I no longer needed to defend myself. I no longer needed to convince anyone. The truth had done that for me. Months later, I received a promotion. Not because people felt sorry for me, but because my work finally spoke louder than the lies. Looking back now, I realized the greatest lesson wasn't about betrayal. It was about self-respect. When people try to rewrite your story, it can be tempting to surrender, to stay quiet, to accept blame just to make the pain stop. But sometimes the strongest thing you can do is stand calmly in the truth, even when you're standing alone. Because lies often move faster than truth. But truth lasts longer, and eventually, it reaches every room it needs to reach. That day, they expected an apology. Instead, they heard a recording. And in those few minutes, everything changed. The moral of the story is simple. Never let pressure force you to confess to a lie. Stay patient. Protect the truth. Because when the moment comes, the truth can speak louder than any accusation ever will.